Things you don't want to know. What my toes look like right now. Things you do want to know. What your credit score looks like right now, and if you even have one. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Deanna, also known as Dee, and today we're coming at you from the side of my house again. Hello, saying hello to my beautiful wooden fence background. Doing great, right, alright. So, anyways, today we're going to talk about some credit issues. And not necessarily issues, but you know, everyone got issues with credit. Especially if you don't have any. You have more issues with credit if you don't have it than you know. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is, what in the world is credit? So basically, there are two kind of definitions of what credit is. And the issue is just because people use the word in a lot of different ways. You know, same word, different meanings. The first one is your actual ability to be loaned money. So if you actually are able to have access and different things like that. This seems like it's really low. Are you looking up at my chin? Let's see. All right, is that better? Is that better? I don't know if you can tell, but it seems better to me, like it's almost eye level and stuff. But yeah, anyway, that's what we're talking about. So the first definition of credit, again, is just your ability to be loaned money. And that ability is kind of defined by this thing called your credit score. And so we'll get more into what a credit score is and how that is determined a little bit later in the video. But first, the second definition of credit is basically the money that you are able to be loaned, and that loaned money must be paid back with interest normally. One of the main ways that people normally think about this is like actual loans or credit cards. However, that's not the only ways. The second question, what is a credit score? So basically what a credit score is a number typically between 300 and 850, but this can vary depending on the actual credit union that is calculating your score and a number of different factors, or even just the type of score it is. This is the typical range for FICO and Vantage scores. These are determined by a number of different items, and basically it tells the lender how, not necessarily worthy, but how trustworthy you are to actually be loaned money. It tells them how likely you are to actually be able to pay it back, if you have the means to be able to pay it back, and other things like that. Now, your credit score is based on a couple of different things. However, the two most important ones are use and payment history. And when they say use, they mean how much of your total credit line are you actually using. Typically, it is best to use between, you want to use more than 0, although that technically won't hurt your score, it's just not really going to help it, but between 0 and 30%, just so that they can see that you're kind of being responsible with your money, and that helps show them that you are more likely to not only pay it off, but be able to pay it off. I typically like to keep my usage below 10% of my total credit line, although recently I've been doing a bit less because I really only use my credit card to get gas, unless it's something else, like if I'm trying to get points or I'll be able to pay it off the next month, then I'll get like food or clothes or something with it, but I tend to keep that to a minimum. Wow, the sun is out and he is coming for me. Wow, he's trying to make sure I get all kinds of dark. It's fine. I'm here for melanin. Alright, anyway, the next aspect of your credit score, as I said, is payment history. Payment history is kind of what it sounds like, just the history of you paying off your credit. So this can be on your credit card, your loan, even your phone bill. Do you pay your mortgage on time? All of this is just based on, do you pay it on time or not? And now this can even just be like the minimum amount. Even the minimum amount is better than not paying at all, because missing a payment can drastically drop your credit score. Now they have a minimum amount that you can pay each month if you are over that amount, and so if nothing else you should at least pay that off. However, I prefer to pay off my entire balance, because at least with my credit card, that ensures that I don't actually have to pay interest on the money that I use from my credit card. Now you want to check with your company before you do that. Just make sure that they do have some sort of grace period before they start charging you interest, because that does depend on your company. All right, so the next aspect of your credit score that actually contributes to it, although significantly less than the other two, are derogatory marks. Now, this is just like negative things on your report, such as late payment or any other kind of thing that could show that you're not financially responsible, and that can play a medium according to Credit Karma. I'll get into more about Credit Karma later, but a medium type of impact. So another one is the actual age of your account. So there's not much that you can do about this one starting out if you have no type of credit, but just the age of your credit is going to improve it, especially if you have a history of paying on time and doing good. However, this also works in the opposite way, that you generally don't want to cancel a credit card unless absolutely necessary. So make sure that you're not taking on extra credit cards that you don't need. Now, this kind of leads us into the next point, which is the number of the lines of credit that you have. For some reason, they like to see you doing well, paying well on multiple lines of credit than just doing it on one. However, this can be dangerous if you don't necessarily have the means to pay off multiple credit cards or loans or things like that, because you want to make sure that you're making the minimum payment on each at least. However, as I said before, it is much better to pay off the entire balance in that month if you can. Now, this is clearly a bit different for loans. I'm speaking towards credit cards, but I will definitely make sure to make an entire video about credit cards and my tips and tricks on how to actually use them. And so, as I was saying, just like multiple lines of credit are beneficial. Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention, you don't have a credit score if you don't have enough credit history for them to actually determine what your credit score should be. So if you've never taken out a loan or you don't have a credit card or something like that, you technically have no credit, which is an issue, as I said before. Unfortunately, this could also go the other way, because you could be applying for a credit card and then find out that you have bad credit somehow, and that's typically if something was put in your name without your permission, or with your permission, who knows, or if you have some sort of bill that was in your name that you just didn't pay off. Make sure that you're keeping this in mind before you try to apply for things like credit cards. So I know this is probably one that you are all thinking about, because there's a lot of debate out there about whether or not credit is important. Well, in my opinion, it is very important, just because you never really know what's gonna happen. So even if you don't plan on getting a credit card or you want to buy your house or your car in all cash, kudos to you, number one, because that's my goal too. I hope to be able to do that one day. However, it's just a good idea to have a good credit score, just in case you do need to take that more traditional route of paying for your house or your car by taking out a loan. Banks and loan companies are more likely to loan you money if you have a higher credit score. And not only that, the higher your credit score, the better your interest rates will be on these particular loans. Now, I say that it's better if you have a higher one, because if you don't have a credit score at all, there's not much that they can do for you, which is really counterintuitive when you think about the fact that you typically need to have credit in order to get a credit card, at least. I don't know. Also, of course, you can get like student loans and things like that, but I am going to school loan free, so that wasn't a way for me to actually be able to build my credit. Therefore, I got a credit card. And for people who don't have credit, you can get a secured card, or if you are a full-time student in college or university, then you can get a student card. And of course, I will talk about those more in my credit card video. Anyway, I really need to stop saying anyway. I feel like that's annoying. Do you all? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if that shoulder roll thing was, but we're just gonna go with it, okay? Okay. But anyway, I did it again. See? But anyway, why are you doing this to me? So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I decided that I do want to do a bit more on like financial literacy, although this isn't going to be all that my channel is about, just because I feel like it's a very important skill that a lot of people my age, like 20-ish and younger, don't learn about this. And I know that everyone was like in high school like, oh, so you could teach me the Pythagorean theorem, but I don't know how to fill out a check. Oh, okay, that's fine. So I hope that this becomes a sort of series almost, and we'll just see where it goes. Right now I'm really thinking about keeping it focused on like saving, budgeting, credit, different things like that that you would need to know. However, this can definitely expand more, as I don't know if I've said this before, but this channel is just going to grow with me so that you all can see what it is to like currently be in your 20-somethings. So hopefully learning about finance can be something that we do together, and just let me know in the comments something that you want to know about financial literacy, budgeting, saving, credit, anything like that that you want to know about, and I will be sure to make a video on it. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to be a part of this financial journey and just journey into our 20s in general, and I will see you all next week. Thanks guys, bye!